Okay, so we're going to do a little delta math here. I'm going to log in. I'm logging in like a student, so I'm part of Mr. Smith's Algebra 1 second period class. You can see that up here at the top. So that's who I'm logged into. All right, so Mr. Smith. And I notice there's 4 upcoming assignments. So there's this one that says, Welcome back to Algebra. And then there's some more that we're going to do this week. So if you're in Algebra 1, there's the Algebra 1 assignments. All right. But today we're going to do this one. All right. And so to do this assignment, we'd start by clicking on that assignment. But one of the first things we're going to need probably is a pencil and paper. All right. So I'm going to get a pencil and paper here. All right, and if you had a phone, this is probably what the problem looks like on your phone. You can't do these on your phone. All right, so the first one says write an equivalent by expression by distributing the negative sign. All right, so you have, this is our problem. Negative 7.3 with a b. Subtract 7. All right, so let's remember something right here for distributing this negative. All right, is that we see a negative here, but there's actually our invisible 1 is right in front of there. All right, so what we're doing is we're taking this negative 1 and we're multiplying it by each of the terms inside this parentheses. All right, so we're going to have negative 1 times negative 7.3b, and we're also going to have negative 1 times negative 7. All right, so when we do these two multiplications, so this is our distribution. So when we're going to get these two, we're going to have negative 1 times negative 7.3. That is a positive 7.3b. And we have negative 1 times negative 7. That is a positive 7. We bring down the other term that was here, negative 2a. All right, so it said simplify. All right, and can we do anything? Can we combine these two? This is an a. And this is a b. They're variables, but they're different, so we can't combine them. So that's our answer right there. So we go over here and we say negative 2a. Where's the a? There we go. Plus 7.3b and plus 7. All right, and it says submit answer. And it gives you a chance to check your answer before. And I notice that our answer is the same thing as over here on our scratch paper. So we say yes, and that gives us a nice big green check. All right, now we can go to the next problem. All right, the next problem says rewrite in simplest terms. Okay, simplest terms. All right, and so we have x minus y minus 3x minus 10y. All right, notice that we have the distribute the negative right here again. So the first thing we're going to have to do is multiply. I'll put our invisible 1 there. We're going to have to multiply our invisible 1, negative 1, times those two terms. All right, so we're going to have negative 1 times 3x and negative 1 times 10y. All right, I should make this a little better. This is a negative sign. All right, so the answer to this, negative 1 times negative 3 is a negative 3x, and negative 1 times negative 10, oh, I forgot the negative sign, times negative 10 is a positive 10y. All right, and here we had no distribution to do, so we can just remove the parentheses. All right, and now you can do this mentally, or I'm going to do it on paper here. So we're going to regroup this and put our x's together and our y's together. All right, and if we take the x's and the y's together, so we have a negative 1x. Again, we have like invisible 1 here. So we have negative 1 and negative 3. That gives us negative 4x. And here we have, again, our invisible 1. So we have negative 1 and positive 10. That gives us a positive 9y. Okay, and that's our answer. We can't combine these two variables because this is an x and this is a y, so we can't combine them. All right, so we go back over here, and I'm going to put this in wrong. I'm going to put in 4x plus 9y. I'm going to submit my answer, and we say, is that right? And we look over here, and we don't notice that we have a negative there. We just go too fast, and we say, yes, that's the answer. And it says, oh, your answer is not correct. Try to find your mistake. You have 1 attempt remaining. All right, so try to find my mistake. All right. Oh, I see. I need a negative sign right there. We left it out on purpose, so we weren't really wrong. But let me say submit that, and this time we get a green check. All right, and notice it steps you through the problem almost exactly the same way I did. All right, they won't always be exactly the same, but in this case they are. All right, let's go to the next problem. All right, this says rewrite in simplest terms. All right, and so notice we have another distribution of a 4 times this parentheses and minus 10t. All right, so we have distribution, and we're going to have 4 times negative 6t and 4 times negative 3. All right, and this, so we have to do these two multiplications. So 4 times 6 is 24, and it has a negative sign, negative 24t. And this is 4 times 3, which is 12, and it has a negative sign. So negative 12. Nothing happened with our negative 10t over here. So we put our terms together. Again, you can just do this in your head. All right, and we put these two t's together, and we have minus 34t minus 12. And that's our answer. Minus 34t minus 12. All right, submit answer. Again, with check, I encourage you to check your answers every time. I've done enough of these problems, I had to do them twice because I made a mistake. All right, and there's our answer. Okay, let's go to our next problem. All right, this says simplify to a single power, and it's 6 to the 3rd to the 5th. So let's think about what that means. Actually, when we see a power times an exponent, okay, this is like the power multiplies. All right, so it gets really powerful when it looks like this. So the power multiplies. So the power is 6 multiplies, which is 6 to the 15th. Another way to think about this is we have 6 to the 3rd 5 times. So we have 6 to the 3rd times 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 6 to the 3rd. Well, how many 6's do we have there? So if we skip count by 3's, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we have 15 6's, so 6 to the 15th. Alright, so we go over here and we put in our 15 and submit answer. Yes, we like that. Alright, and it tells us pretty much the same thing I said here. They actually wrote all the 15 6's out. So, alright, so let's go to the next one here. Next, okay, now we have a division of exponents, all right, and so we have 4 to the 8th over 4 to the 5th. All right, so when we have division, okay, division means subtract, because these are subtracting power. From, whoops, form. You know, I do that all the time, even when I'm typing. From the numerator. From the numerator. Okay, so we're going to subtract. So that's going to be 4 to the 8th minus 5, which is 4 to the 3rd. If you want to think about the way that works, the top has 8 fours. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so that's what 4 to the 8th means, and 4 to the 5th means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. All right, and what we can do is we can cancel these out, and all we have left up here is 3 4s, and 3 4s is equal to 4 to the 3rd. All right. I want to point out also something really quickly here. When you have 4 to the 8th, all right, this 4, all right, the base, that's called, all about the base. The base is 4, okay, and the exponent is 8. All right, so for us to do this division or subtraction or multiplication, okay, so we have to have the same base. All right, so we couldn't take 4 to the 8th and 3 to the 5th and subtract that. All right, so different base, we couldn't do what we just did. All right, back over here though, we get a 3 and submit our answer. Yes, 4 to the 3rd is our answer. And we'll go on to our next problem. All right, now we have our simple little problems, and everybody probably already has the answer to this in their head. Okay, so what number subtract 5 equals 8? Well, that must be 7, 13. 13 minus 5 equals 8. All right. I will just use this to very quickly talk about the two ways that we simplify or solve. Let's say solve. All right, so we n minus 8, 5 equals 8. How do we solve those? Okay, we solve by number 1, making zeros. Okay, and number 2, making ones. I don't know if anybody ever explained this to you that way, but that's the way I'm explaining it. Okay, so here's what we want. We want this. We want n equals and then something, right? So everything that's not an n has to go away from the left side, and everything has to go to the right side. All right, so number 1, make a 0. Okay, how do we make negative 5 a 0? Well, we add 5 to it, and that gives us a 0. All right, now our rules of equality, remember this is an equal sign, so we have equality rules. Okay, equality rules say if we add 5 to one side, we have to add 5 to the other side. All right, so when we add 5 over here, we get 13. All right, and we made a 0 there, so in math we don't write zeros in our equation. So that 0 disappeared, and now all that's left is this n, and on this side's a 13. All right, so our answer is 13. All right, so I'm going to put 12 in here. Okay, and I'm going to submit this as an answer. Yes, that's right. Suppose I did 8 and 5 equals 12. Okay, you have one attempt remaining. I look over here and go, well, maybe it was 14. All right, so I'm going to submit my answer 14. Yes, I want to submit this, and it's like, oh, X. Okay, and it says your first two attempts were 12 and 14, and here's the right way to do it and how we got 13. And you say, oh, okay, great. And so I'm going to hit next. All right, and now it doesn't give me a chance to go do that problem again. All right. So, but we all know how to do it, and we all know we would have gotten it right. So, all right, here's the next one, 3w plus 27 equals 6. Remember our two things. One, we're going to make zeros. Okay, and then two, we're going to make ones. Whoops, we don't want that. Make ones. All right, so look over here. What can we make to a 0? Well, there we go. We can make 27 into a 0. All right, by subtracting 27. That's a 0. Don't forget about our part. This is an equality. All right, so to make it equal, we have to have like that. And so over here we have 6 minus 27, and that equals a negative 21. All right. So now, here's what we have left. We have a negative 3. Oh, I have to hurry up. I only got 15% left. And a negative 21. Those are our two things. All right, now, can we make this into a 0? The negative 3. Well, let's think about that. It doesn't really make any sense to make it a 0 because it says negative 3 times w. All right, if we change this to a 0, it's going to say 0 times w, and our w is going to disappear. So that doesn't work. Because remember, what we want down here is w equals something. All right? Okay, so we can't make it into a 0. That doesn't work. All right, so we must make it into a 1. All right, how do you make things into a 1? Well, any number or variable or expression that's the same in the numerator and the denominator. All right, so same, anything that looks like this is the same, it equals 1. All right, so for instance, 14 over 14 equals 1. N over n equals 1. Negative 3n, n over negative 3n equals 1. Okay, so what should we do over here? Do we want to have negative 3w as divide by negative 3w? If we do, that'll change the whole thing into 1, and it'll say 1 equals negative 21. That's not going to work. So in this case, all we do is divide by negative 3. All right, because negative 3 over negative 3 gives us a 1. So now we have 1w equals, our equality says do it on both sides. So we have negative divided by a negative, which turns this into a positive. And we have 3 times 7 equals 21. So our answer is 7 there. All right. And so now we have 1w equals 7, which is what we wanted. And this is our invisible one. We don't usually write it. You can. It absolutely is mathematically correct. Make that a 7. All right, so we say w equals 7. All right, and put in 7 and submit our answer. And yes, we love that. Okay, check mark. And this shows you how the problem was solved for y. All right. And now we have a few problems. Now, this says record is 0 out of 3. Okay, so I need to do 3 of these. All right, so up here, I need to do 3 of these. Notice this also says show example. So if you have example, it's going to show you how to do this. 6, 7. Okay, so I go to 6. And I don't know why it says 4. And I go to 7. Okay? All right. Let's go to original problem. If you want more examples, it'll give you more examples. All right, plot the point -2, 3. All right, so if we use their method, we go out here to -2. All right, -2. And then I'm going to go up. Now I can't move the point. Next time I touch it, it goes away. All right, so I go to -2, and then I go up to 3. So that's where I am at -2, 3. So it says click a point, and if you want to delete it, then click it. So I'm going to submit that as my answer. I'm going to say yes. And it gives us a check mark. And it shows us that cute little graph again. All right. Now notice when I say next problem, I could go to the next type of problem, or I can go to my next problem, because I need to do 3 of these. All right. So I'm going to go to next problem, and this says 0, 3. So 0, I'm already at 0. So I'm going to go up to 3, and there's where 0, 3 is. 0, 3 is not over here. Oops. Yes, I understand. Okay. 0, 3 is not there, because that's where x equals 3. All right, and here we have, don't forget, this is, let's erase this for a second, and 0, 3, all right. So remember that this is the x and this is the y. All right, so in this case, x equals 0 and y equals 3. All right, and actually that's it's a positive 3. All right, and so that's not the right spot, so that's the right spot. Okay. Yes, I got that. Okay. Did I touch that in the wrong place? That is definitely 0, 3. Submit answer. Yes. And there it gave me, I must have put it not quite in the right place last time. All right, next problem. -5, 5. Okay, now in this case, all right. So we have -5, 5. So our x is -5 and our y is 5. All right. So that means our x is -5. That's over here. And positive 5y is up here. So that means our point's going to be right there. All right, so let's go over here to -5, which is right there. And now I'm going to go up to 5, which is right there. -5, 5. All right. And so, whoops. Going to submit my answer. I love that answer. And it's correct. All right, so now I've done 3 out of 3, so I'm good there. I hit next. And I go to my next problem. Okay, this is a little timed thing. I'm not really ever going to give you timed stuff for grades, so you don't have to worry about that. But this is just a little combining positive and negative, all right? And so I'm going to do a little thing over here, all right? And this is a little scoreboard. This is the positive team, and this is the negative team. All right, and I don't have 10 of those. I have to do 10 of them, but I don't have 10 of them, but I'll show you how this works. All right, so I'm going to start. And this says 1 and 8. All right, so the positive team has 1 and the positive team has 8. The negative team has nothing. All right, so who's up? The positive team, and they're up by 9. Okay, positive 9. All right, the negative team has -6 and -4. The positive team has nothing. So who's ahead? The negative team is ahead by 10. -10. All right. We have the positive team has 9 and the negative team has 9. Who's ahead? No one. That must mean it's a 0. There's no one's ahead. 0. Okay, the positive team has 8 and the negative team has 9. Who's ahead? The negative team by 1. Negative 1. Okay, same thing. 8, negative 8, that's going to be a 0. 8 and 1, both positive, that's a 9. Negative 8 and negative is 15, and they're both negative, so that's negative 15. These are the same, so it makes a 0. This makes negative 6. 9 subtract 5, or we have positive has 9, negative has 5. Who's ahead? Positive by how many? 4. So the answer to that is 4. And I did 10 of them. So I'm going to hit stop. All right. And I beat my 100 seconds, which is awesome. Okay. So I'm going to go to my next problem. I hit next. It didn't do anything. If I hit back, oh, don't tell me my... All right, we've got one more to do, this order of operations. Okay, order of operations. We're going to have to do 5 of these in 100 seconds. Okay, but let's remember what order of operations. We do parentheses, exponents, division or multiplication, and adding and subtracting. Okay, and both of these we do left to right. Okay, and this we also do left to right. All right. Okay. All right. Are we ready? So parentheses, exponents, division, multiplication. So division looks like a little guy. All right, so we have division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And this is our exponent, and this is our parentheses. Okay, ready, set, go. All right, so we have negative 14 over 2.